there, and welcome to another episode of Radiance Central, and I'm your host, Natasha St. Michael, and thank you so much for joining me. So it's 2016, Happy New Year. This is my first video of this year. I'm excited to be back, and I thought today I'd talk about New Year's goals and New Year's resolutions, and give some encouragement to those of you that perhaps have kind of already fallen off of your goals, or you're not as on top of it as you plan to be. Because I do know that we all start the new year off feeling fresh and excited, and we have all the best intentions and a huge list of goals and things we want to achieve. And something usually happens by like mid-January or towards the end of January that a lot of people fall off their goals. And a lot of times they get sidetracked, or the goals just don't happen, and they fall off their plan and they feel bad, right? I know for myself, a lot of times I've made huge goals for the New Year's, and next thing you know, it's like I'm nowhere even near what I was planning to do. And I know that I can be very hard on myself, and I see a lot of people being hard on themselves and feeling like you fell off, or you messed up, or you feel guilty. And I have to say that the one thing about being in a place like that and feeling guilty and putting pressure on yourself and all of that is it takes your power away. And it's like the one thing that's actually gonna like stand in your way of actually going ahead and achieving your goals. A lot of times we have to sort of face challenges or obstacles or fall off in order to get ourselves back on and actually achieve our goal. It's part of the journey. And if we're hard on ourselves or we're beating ourselves down about it, it's really hard to do anything. And how I see it is that it takes your power away, and you need that power to actually move forward to do what you want to do, and to get to a place in your life where you're succeeding, and you have your personal victories. So one thing that I recommend is actually to see the challenges as a benefit. It's a window into what's working for you and what's not. And I find for anyone that's like trying to achieve a goal is that you always need to be checking in with yourself and what you're doing and how you're going about achieving that goal. And is your strategy working, or is it not? What needs to be changed? What needs to be adjusted? What do you need to keep doing? What do you need to let go of? And so if you found that you've fallen off your New Year's goals, my suggestion is to ask yourself, honestly, what happened? What is it that made you get all excited in the beginning only to fall off 2 weeks later? Was there something that happened? Was there something that wasn't working for you? Was there something that wasn't planned properly? Was there something that you didn't enjoy? Was there something that just standing in your way? And I find it's like when we stop and kind of take ourselves out of the situation and kind of just look at like what happened in that time span that made you make that detour, a lot of times you can get insight into what you need to do to continue, what you need to strengthen, what you need to modify, what you need to change to make it work. So I can give an example, like let's say your goal for the new year was to go back to the gym and get fit and to build some muscle and tone up. And you're really excited about it. You start working out for the first few days in January, and then by mid-January, you completely stopped. You completely forgot about your goal. And you're no longer exercising, and you're just hanging out on the couch and feeling guilty, right? What to do in a situation like that? Well, my whole view is that don't feel guilty, put all that aside, and look at what your strategy was. And first of all, if you even had a strategy, because I find a lot of times the one thing that stands in a lot of people's way is that they don't have a strategy. They don't really plan. They don't really think about it beyond what they want to achieve. They don't think about, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that to achieve that goal. So the first thing is to see what your plan is. And if you didn't have a plan, maybe it's time to make a plan. Okay? And if you did have a plan but you're unable to stick to it, then you got to ask yourself, like, what is it that you couldn't do? What is it that you didn't enjoy? What is it that was standing in your way? What is it that wasn't working? And like for someone trying to exercise, it might be that the time of day that they're always planning on exercising was like the worst time of the day. Or it might be that the exercise that they're doing, they don't like. How many times have you done some sort of exercise or gym activity that you hated? You know, that's like the worst thing, because that's not going to inspire you to keep going and keep doing it. You got to always make adjustments to make sure that whatever you're trying to do, that the journey is enjoyable. It's something that you can foresee yourself doing over and over again and having a good time doing it, because that's going to make the journey much easier. Another example could be as well as for someone that's trying to lose weight, right? And your goal is to lose X amount of weight in year 2016, and you decide you're going to do a certain diet. And you've been really good on the diet for like a few days, and then suddenly you fell off the diet, and perhaps you overate something, or you binged on something, or you just completely just fell off the diet. And you feel defeated, you feel deflated, you feel like you failed. And what to do? Well, my suggestion is, instead of beating yourself down and focusing on what went wrong, it's about taking a step out of the situation and seeing what happened. You know, why did you fall off the diet? What is it that's standing in your way? What is it that's not working? You know, for some people, it's that they don't like the food, you know, or they weren't properly prepared. They didn't have healthy food in the refrigerator, or they didn't have recipes of food to make. You know, it's like you have to make the process easy. You have to have a plan. And it could be too that like a diet is too restrictive, that it was just too hard to stick to, or that you felt awful on the diet, or you weren't eating enough food, or something came up in your life that made you stressed, that made you want to eat junk food. You know, it's many things can come up that's kind of standing in our way. And the more that you have the insight into knowing what is it that triggers you to fall off, what is it that makes you just make a complete detour off your path. And if you're able to kind of see what those things are, what your weak points are, or what is not working for you or you don't like, then you're able to make changes so that you can put yourself on a path that's going to make you succeed. And that's one thing I see with people over and over again. People who achieve their goals are constantly making changes. They're constantly checking in on their progress. They're constantly looking at what's working, what's not. And they're focusing on how to do more of the stuff that is working. You know, instead of kind of following someone else's plan, or instead of following certain rules and then beating yourself down because you can't follow them, you need to instead adjust those rules, because each person is different. You know, I truly believe that. Like, each person has certain things that work for them and that don't. And the more that we're trying to kind of go against ourselves and do things a certain way that might not work for us, it's like the further you're going to be from your goal. So it's all about how to make the process actually work, how to make the journey get you there. And it's about finding that right path. And if you're not on the right path, you've got to create the right path. All right, so that's my tip for today. I'm wishing everyone a super fabulous day, and I'm excited to be back. We're going to have a great 2016. See you again soon. Bye.